Hello friends, I'm DragoNate. Welcome to another Sunday of reading your answers to last week's question. I just realized too that these videos they're basically the same as Pewdiepie's LWIAY series, because LWIAY stands for Last Week I Asked You, and that's quite literally exactly what I'm doing here. But we're just going to ignore that for now. I'm not copying anything, okay? I came up with this before he came up with that, I think, maybe. In any case, last week I asked you, or I guess I should say last week Croco asked you, do we have free will, or is everything predetermined / predestined? Sorry, switch that. So as usual, I'll read your answers in this video, but before we get to that, your question for this week comes from Moody's Media, who asks, what game / games are you looking forward to in 2018? And I'm going to add to it and say movies, because I know not everyone who watches my videos likes to play many games or cares too much about games. So how about movies? Because a lot of people like movies. So leave your answers in the comments down below and I shall read them next week. Now here are your thoughts on whether we have free will or not. First, starting with Zingcat, who says, I think we definitely have free will. If everything were predestined, then nothing we did would matter, I think. We'd all just be acting out a plan, and every decision would just mean we're acting on that plan while thinking we were executing free will, which is a horrifying thought. That is absolutely terrifying, because it would all be an illusion, and it would literally mean that absolutely none of our choices mattered, that they make no difference, that they don't matter nothing. Wise Wizard says, to answer, yes, we are destined, but our destiny is marked and forged by the steps we walk in our lives and our everyday lives, so both. And I think that's kind of interesting too. So it's not necessarily that we are predestined for a specific thing and that that's already been set out, but rather that the choices we make kind of determine our end path. Mum says we are supposed to have free will, but I don't know if we do when it comes to certain things anyway. It's like you have to conform to the way someone else wants things to be instead of what you want and feel is the right thing to do. You don't have the free will to do that, it seems, especially in a job where there are others higher up than you. What they say goes, so it seems. So in that case, it's more like we do have free will, but some people or some organizations or some authorities try and take away free will from others. Mitsu says, I don't like to mix up religion here, but I gotta do it this time. I think we do have free will, but God still gives us these chances to guide us to the path that He meant for us. We can also not go down that path, and it's okay. After all, we don't exactly know what's the path meant for us. And I hope that makes some sense to you. It does make sense. And to me, that's more like that a path has been set out for us. So we are predestined to a specific thing, but we do have the choice to either follow that path or not to follow that path. So it's more that you're made for a specific thing, but it's your choice whether you do that, whether you follow that, or whether you don't. Benny has a very simple explanation as to why he thinks we do have free will. Can't say why, but here's an example. I think I won't eat the ice cream, but I want. Anyway, my figure is more important for me than the taste of ice cream. So you said I won't. I'm not religious, so I think that there's no God or heaven that has predetermined our life, but interesting question. I only say, ich bin frei. And YouTube likes to cut things off sometimes for something like this. I'm using OBS, so I'm trying to like record the screen here while I do this. You can see me highlighting and everything. Like I can actually click on stuff right now. But I have to have the thing zoomed in to 200% for it to be big enough, because otherwise it looks like this, and it's way too small for you guys to read, so there's no point. Hence why I have Croco's answer up at the top. So he says, almost forgot to answer my own question. Before Einstein, we thought every moment of atom can be predicted. Like movement of planets, and with enough process power, we could predict even the most complex movements. Do we have free will in this model? Basically, no. Since everything is predictable, unless it's unless it's our personality, our brain, me, is a game changer, which is able to change everything, even atoms' movement. But with this thinking, we are splitting the universe into matter and transcendental. It's dualism in philosophy. After Einstein, we know that we can't predict atom movement on quantum level yet. Maybe we will be able to do it in the future, but more research is needed. So answer is, we don't know. Now, Croco studied this in university, and that's why he asked the question, because he thought it would be very interesting. And it is. It's definitely one of those questions that makes you think a lot. Milo says, I don't know how to answer this question. I guess most things happen for a reason, but some things are just really there for no reason. Well, I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and that we may not know what the reason is. We may never know what that reason is, but there has to be some kind of reason for it. That's my mentality. And Skilm says, this is a good question because I've been thinking of this a lot for the past 1.5 years since my mother suddenly passed away, and I'm sorry about your mother. That's never a good time. I like to think that only birth and death are predestined. Between them you have free will to do as you see best and will be remembered or judged by the deeds you have done during that time. And my personal answer is that yes, we do have free will. I think that we do because it just, in my opinion, it wouldn't make sense if we didn't have free will. If we didn't have free will, then everything around us is fake. There's no reason for anything, and everything just becomes pointless. And it's a scary thought to think that we have the illusion of free will and that we have the illusion that things are meaningful and that things matter. I don't like that way of thinking, so I personally think we do have free will and that things are changed by our choices, because our choices do have consequences. Whether they're good or bad, they do have consequences. Now that wraps it up for this week's question. Thank you all for your participation again. It was really great to see so many different answers to a question like this. I think most people said that we do have free will, but it's also kind of true that it's difficult for us to determine accurately whether we actually do have free will or not. You know, you can't just put it into a calculator and have it spit out an answer to you. But it's really cool to see so many different answers. That's what I love about this. Now, don't forget that your question next week is what games or movies are you looking forward to the most in 2018? Let me know in the comments down below and we will read your answers next week. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will see you again very, very soon. Oh, also just as a side note, Fridays for the rest of January, just in case I haven't mentioned it yet, I will not be able to do live streams, so I'm going to switch those to Thursdays. Everything's messed up for my work schedule and everything for January especially, so I'm going to have to, you know, kind of weave my schedule around as it needs to be, but I'll do my best with it. But either way, I'll see you again very soon. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.